part of the problem that we have now is that we don't take time to talk to each other. We're talking past each other, we're talking over each other, we're talking at each other, but not talking to each other.
Leave your lack of multicultural awareness at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome, Carl Mike. I'm Carl.
And I'm Mike.
You're up.
I am. Nita's getting tired of me talking about the Settlers.
Settlers? I like Settlers.
I love the Settlers. The
That's a great
Settlers,
TV
they
campaign.
went outside. They climbed the trees.
I
They
think your
looked for
body gets
breeze.
used to
You
it.
know, they
Yeah, sit in the shade.
they walked the fields
Drank a little
naked. I don't
tea.
know what the hell they did, but you know,
Little tea on the porch.
yeah, tea on the porch.
Yeah.
But it wasn't iced tea. See, they
No.
didn't have ice back then. Settlers didn't have ice. So Nita's tired of me talking about settlers, and I say, okay, well then I'll substitute Amish for settlers.
Do you remember the first time? I remember the first time I saw color TV. You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, my sister
Well, it was
and
at
I-
a department store or a TV store.
Yeah.
We didn't own
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You'd see it at the store, and you go,
Oh my God! Look at his red shirt.
"That's right."
I remember being so surprised by
going,
Gilligan,
"Oh my God!
Gilligan's Island. Remember?
Look at that color
Yeah.
on the screen."
Mom, I want one.
And the screens were about the size of a small.
Well, there's Sony, really, as I remember it.
Oh
Sony
no, there's
Trinitron.
Admiral and
back-
Trent and
but that's
Admiral
Sony
and
kind of big,
Magnavox and.
Now it's interesting. I remember color TV, but
Sylvania.
I don't remember the first iPhone. I remember the first time I saw a Macintosh computer, and my brain could not get my head around.
Well, see, we
whole
kind of
cursor and mouse.
eased into computers when we had a business. We had an old televideo 8-bit,
Right. Yeah.
and I
Wally had one of those.
Yeah, and then
Copyrighted.
we got an IBM XT. We thought we were really
Which were kind of
uptown.
like electronic typewriters.
Yeah, but it was still one of those C:\\\.
Right.
There was no upfront operating system.
So do you remember? I mean, like, because I don't remember like my first time I saw an iPhone or
I remember the first time I saw a brick phone.
a brick phone. Yes.
A brick phone. One of those. It was about the
Yeah.
size of a brick. Had this
Yeah.
antenna coming out of the top of it. I was in El Paso with a client.
Right.
It's a client that owned the Petro, that it was truck stops, and one of the guys that worked for there had one, and the box that made it work took up half his trunk.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Because it
but
came
he
in
was-
like a suitcase, right?
Yeah, he was making a call from a restaurant, and we were all, the future is here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
actually in Canada at the time, and Canadians with Ericsson came from there, I believe. Had it before we did, and I remember going, "Oh my God, phone anywhere." Yes, technology.
Oh, it was amazing. But yeah, the first iPhone, I can't remember that.
Because I guess is that because it's not the first, really? It's an
Well, because I had a
iteration.
flip. You have a flip
Yeah, I had a
phone.
flip phone before that.
Flip.
Actually, the first time the iPhone was when Steve Jobs introduced it. I watched
Yeah.
it on the thing.
And again, it was one of those breath-sucking moments
Yeah.
where you just go, "Oh my God, must have!" And your hands would go out in front, and you'd zombie-like walk to wherever it was. Must have phone.
And now it's ubiquitous. Matter of fact, you pretty much can't go anywhere without. It's like
No.
an extension of your brain,
Yes.
as well as
Well,
communication with the
and
outside world.
Nita's using it for an alarm clock in the morning, and you use it for all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
Well, it replaced so
Looking
many
up recipes.
things. I don't know if you ever seen on Facebook, they had a
Yeah.
post or something that 103 items that it's replaced
Yeah.
from a compass.
And that probably
to,
really doesn't get into all the apps and stuff. Well, the other thing that I love having the weather apps that I've got, because I can go around. I've got a radar in my pocket.
yes.
I got a radar in my pocket.
The technology
I
is
like
called dematerialization. There's a
Is that what
$9
it is?
Yes. Technology dematerializes
You know,
a
I'm
lot
not
of
even
stuff.
going to give that SAT.
Huh? What?
I'm not even going to rate that as a
Dematerialization. Come on.
SAT.
How
No,
many
that's
syllables is that? That's serious syllable.
You know what that
action.
is? That's 4 copywriters in a room until they come up with something.
No,
You
it
don't
was
feed
a
them
material.
no pizza. You don't even give them pizza. You say you're not eating that fucking thing until you come up with some $5 word.
Look, this is a flashlight. See?
Yeah.
We
Flashlight
dematerialized the flashlight. We got a compass in here. You see, all these things would take up this whole table of what you have now.
Dematerialize. You just repackaged it in
It's
one
all
thing.
inside here.
Yeah.
Well, pretty soon this is going to go inside here, inside the body.
So they're going to slit your throat, your chest open, and just kind of slide
It's
it
going to
in.
be very tiny. It's going to be very tiny. You'll swallow it. I'll probably swallow. Down the road, you'll swallow your phone.
And
Then you just use your nipple there.
yeah. Tweak your
Changing
nipple
the
and go.
channel to pick the different app you want.
Ooh, tune in
I think they
Tokyo.
should do that. Think about it. What have nipples really been used for?
They're not used
They're
for
nothing
anything.
for
You can
used
use them
for.
for dials.
I think we need to.
We need a volume, and then
You got it's just like these
Yeah.
two. These two buttons on the phone.
Yeah.
One to change.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of feeling kind of all goozy. Goozy, is that a word? I think I just made up a
Goozy.
word.
Goozy is a good word. You're a
Goozy.
copywriter. You made up a good word
Yeah.
there. See, you didn't
Trademarked
get
by
paid.
Carl and Mike. Goozy.
Goozy.
G-O-Z-G-O-O-Z-Y.
Now, see, there's some thought leadership.
That is thought
Goozy.
leadership right there.
G
And I
O
got it all
O
from
Z
exciting my
Y.
nipples.
Yes.
You see, we got two nipples and we got a belly button.
Yeah.
There's some serious button action that we could
Yeah.
put the iPhone in our body. I think we could do it.
Yeah. And then this
Don't even talk about the
the,
selfie stick.
the joystick.
The joystick. You knew you were going to go
Okay,
there.
now here, now that we've said all that stuff, now I'm gonna lay this on you. This was good.
Okay.
I get a call from Zoe this morning. She said,
That's
"Oh,
your daughter,
yeah,
for those who don't know.
her boyfriend had just stepped in it. They were having dinner with his parents, and his mom was talking about podcasts that she listens to and stuff like
Right.
that. And Dave goes, "Well, Zoe's dad's got a
Oh, no.
podcast." I said, "Oh no, you didn't." He didn't say that. And she said, "Yes, he did."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Oh my God." I said, I asked her, "Has Dave ever listened to one?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Well, that may be a good thing."
Oh,
And
he might listen.
And then, yeah, he may listen now because he stepped in it.
But wait, which will concern him more? Politics? Our views on politics, our views on sex, or our views on religion?
Well, I told Zoe I was trying to give her a sampling.
And Zoe has not listened to our show?
No, no, she has. I think she's listened to a couple of them, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, what he needs is a sampling. I said any of the latest Trump things would be good, and then Swingers Church would be good. And I said
Sex in a
there's-
box.
Yeah, sex in a box, and then basically any of these would be good. So you
Strange
had
Planet
sex,
where we kind of talk
sex-
religion.
Yeah, sex is sex politics. and
Prosperity
religion.
Jesus. He needs to
Prosperity.
see.
Oh, prosperity,
Prosperity
Jesus. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can pretty much get them all there and,
Yeah.
and get a pretty good idea.
I've had a couple of those experiences too.
Our thoughts.
Yes. I've had a couple of experiences where,
Oh, have you really?
yeah, when people go, yeah, all of a sudden the podcast comes up and I know that they're either rabid conservative
Yeah.
or,
But they actually listen.
no, they haven't listened, but they're like, oh, you have a podcast, I'll have to check that out. And it's like, yeah, you may be surprised.
Well, there's another person that we know, Keith, who's actually listened to several of them.
Yeah.
He really likes your Mighty Fine show notes.
Yes.
And he really likes those. And he
you can
says,
go right to the
blow,
area.
Yeah, blow that out as much as you want. He mentioned that.
For those who don't want to listen to the whole show, we
Yeah.
should explain. So Mighty Fine show notes, if you go to carlmike.net, you click, you can see the different, because we go into different subjects, like we went from
Yeah.
where we were talking technology, now we're talking Zoe, so
Yeah.
that would be a show note.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can go right to that moment that we start that conversation.
Yeah, so if you want to skip the
The banter.
and the foul language, you're
No.
pretty much out of luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's
Yeah, the
no
show
way-
note just says
there's no
banter,
way to-
banter, exit.
Yeah, banter A, banter B, banter C. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then usually somewhere towards the end, we talk about spanking and,
Yeah. We haven't talked enough spanking.
they
Is
have
there?
not talked spanking.
Yeah. What's to say about spanking?
I don't get it.
You don't get the attraction?
No, I don't get the, I don't.
It always seems to me that there's some baggage there. Did you get spanked as a kid? Yeah,
Thank.
I mean, did you get spanked as a kid and you're just trying to recreate?
I hope
a
not that kind of spanking.
No, you know,
this.
well, there's a couple theories. That would be a theory one.
Yeah.
That you got spanked as a kid and somehow you
Yeah.
were recreating. I don't know
Yeah.
how the whole sex thing ties
Yeah.
into it. The other thing is you just like intense feelings.
But the whole bondage, dominate me kind of thing. You read stories about guys that are like big execs and they're always making decisions. So what they do is they go off to a dominatrix and they want that person to abuse them.
Right.
Because they spend their entire day abusing other people, so
Well,
they want
so
to
they're
feel.
so-
They want the
it's
other side of
karma,
the fence.
Michael.
It's karma. Well, yeah, but you pay for that karma. And so I don't.
That's a theory. That you're in control all the time, having to make decisions. Everybody's counting on you, and you
Yeah.
just want to let go.
Yeah, a lot of that kind of just weird ass, I guess you'd call it fetish stuff. I don't get.
Well,
I
I
mean, if
think
that's
part-
what they're off on,
Don't you
I
think
guess
part
not.
of it comes from suppressing sex in general in society? Though we seem to be expressing it a lot.
Yeah,
more.
I'd say that might have something to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you, and I don't know, fetishes and stuff. Everybody's. Is there any harm in role playing or?
Absolutely not. That's what there's no harm, no foul. No,
As long as
there's
you're not
nobody.
harming someone else.
If no animals were harmed
Well, there's some sex that
during
would,
the
animals would
activity,
be. Yeah.
that's right.
Is an animal being harmed? If
Chicken
you're a goat?
fuckers. I do not like chicken
Are they-
fuckers. I can.
Do you think they actually exist?
That's where I draw the line. Chicken
Really?
fuckers.
All right. Yeah. Sheep fuckers, you're okay with.
Well, no.
Yeah. Fucking an animal.
Yeah, I just
Because they haven't really asked to be
that whole
fucked.
bestiality. No, yeah, no. I mean, you don't hear a sheep going, fuck me, fuck me.
Well, if you listen close enough.
I guess you can hear what you want to hear.
If you're lonely in Ireland in 1823
Well, or West Virginia.
or West Virginia, yeah. Nothing against our fine
Oh,
West Virginia.
no. This brought up something else today that I saw on Joe in the Morning, which I was just telling you, the Esquire called Squint and the Meat Puppet. Esquire's really good right now. Copy's awesome. Anyway, there's this guy who has been on there several times. He's an unusual looking guy because he's got salt and pepper hair and he kind of combs it straight up into this kind of thing. And I forget his name, but he's really
This
intelligent.
is on Morning Joe?
Yeah, and he's doing a TED Talk that's going to release next Tuesday. And I'm giving you all this information. I don't remember his name. I don't remember.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So you're going to have to hunt it. It's a
you
Google
hunt it
search.
and I'll put it on Mighty
It's a
Fine Show Notes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Anyway, he did a TED Talk that he said, I'm not talking to the people in the room. I'm talking to the people outside the room because the people that I want to talk to are not lucky enough to attend these talks. They don't have the money to attend this talk. They're
Right.
not wealthy or connected or whatever. Because the TED Talk thing, not the TEDx that's around, but TED Talk, that
big
ain't
one.
cheap. And
Yeah.
it used to be
Couldn't
you
even-
had to be asked to attend, right?
Right.
Is it still that way?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I've never attended one.
Elitist fucks. But they do some good
now
stuff.
you gotta like tech because the D is for design, is it not?
Well,
Wasn't
yeah,
it
that's what it
originally?
would design
Technology.
and technology, something in design,
was
probably
the E stand
electronics
for?
or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he was talking about basically part of the problem that we have now is that we don't take time to talk to each other. We're talking past each other, we're talking over each other, we're talking at each other, but not talking to each other. It was given an example. And the other guest that was there with him had written a book. Again, I'm not going to have the name right. It's called Hillbilly Dilemma or something like that. And it's a thing about West Virginia or Kentucky, and this
Okay.
guy grew up there, and he was trying to explain what families are like there, and they said nobody listens to him. They all, everybody talks past him or makes fun of him, and I am guilty of that too. I'm, the first person to use the word cracker to talk about banjo sounds coming out of the woods or something,
Right.
It's like they were saying, if you spent your entire life in the small towns in various places around the country, and the town was all white, or 90 something percent white, and then over the last 10 or 20 years, it's not. It's like 60% white, and the rest of it is like either Hispanic.
Is it that different in West Virginia? It's gone from 90% white to 60?
Well, I don't know, but he's just saying in towns that have
Yeah,
gone that way.
yeah.
You could say that about Dallas. You could say that about
Oh, yeah, but
the
it's a big
Dallas,
city.
central Dallas.
But if you
the
lived in
school
Dallas,
district.
chances are you're going to see a black person.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a huge population of Hispanics that weren't here like
Yeah,
30
okay,
years
sure.
ago. Okay, so anyway, that's created concerns, and nobody sits down and talks about and addresses those concerns. Another thing is, everybody's upset by trade imbalance, and I totally get that, because a lot of people are out of jobs,
Right.
And the coal miners are bitching because they can't do coal because it's dirty ass shit and it's bad for the rest of us. So you just shut down the mines and don't address it, or don't say, okay, I know you did coal before, but now what we're going to do is we're going to be doing something else, and we're going to pay to train
The
you.
Republicans that they're voting for don't want to spend that kind of money on government.
No, because they're too
you have the government retraining
well, they're too
program is
busy.
what you're
They're
talking
too
about,
yes,
right?
and that's the government spending money, and you want
That's
to
right.
trust it. And so what you do is you deflect that conversation into demonizing other people or
If
other
only
things.
the
or the
Mexicans
government
would go away, you'd have your job.
Yeah,
which
if
is
the
a lie.
Mexicans of course
This
it's
is a lie because the
Yeah.
reason your jobs went away is become some billionaire
Well, and
decided that he can make the thing
well,
a lot cheaper
yeah.
outside of the country.
Well, it's not just billionaires; it's the corporations that are all moved across the border, across South Texas border, that have these. What do they call them?
Yeah. Tax-free zones.
Yeah, it's kind of a tax-free
Business.
zone. It's Megalodoras or
Megalodoras?
or macaroons or something. I forget exactly what. There's a term for it, but it's basically same shit on the other side of the border. They have a different name for it.
Now
You know what that is?
What's that?
That's another room full of copywriters that have come up with a different term. Say, let's don't call it, we're moving it across the border. Let's call it a macaroon or whatever the fuck it's called. I forget.
It would help if you knew the word.
Yeah, I know, but
This is the
anyway.
third thing you've forgotten today. Do we need to talk?
Huh?
Do we need to talk?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. No.
You've forgotten the TED Talk guy.
Yeah.
You've forgotten the book. We need to talk.
In all fairness for me, the guy with the TED Talk,
Yeah.
his name is not Bob Roberts. It's some Indian name that I can't even begin
And he's
to
gonna
wrap
give
my
the
head
TED
around.
Talk on Tuesday.
Yeah. And so,
So when he says we don't talk to each other, how is he
Right.
doing that? How is he? What is he saying?
well,
We're not listening to each other.
Yeah, you
We're
got to
just sharing our
recognize that
opinion?
as the main problem or a big problem to begin with.
Yeah. People coming in, minorities or Mexicans, whatever, coming in, they're not having conversations with people that already live there. So there's no conversing that way.
You remember when South Africa, Mandela took over, he was
Right.
put out, and they had that commission where they sit
Truth
down,
Commission.
the Truth Commission, where everybody sits down and goes, okay, I did this was wrong,
Right.
forgive me. Okay, this is what we think, and this is what, and it
Right.
started that. They were saying that that's probably what we're primed for,
In the
or
United
should
States.
be. Now, does that mean
Who's sitting
everybody's going?
down?
Everybody sits down. Everybody has to take part in it. Now, there are going to be some shitheads
Right.
that you're not going to get in
How
there.
do you get everybody into a conversation?
Well, you're not
It's a
going to
big
get
country.
David Duke in, and you're not
Right.
going to get the white supremacists, and you're not going to get the militia. But it would be well. No, I can't even say that. See, that's me talking at them.
Right.
You have to try and get everybody. I don't know what the answer is on that. That has
You have to
got
have-
to at least be tried. And I think everybody tries it on a micro level.
I've done that a couple
Macro
times on
level, micro
Facebook.
level.
You get into a political argument with somebody,
Yeah.
and then one of us reached out and said, hey, and then we had a normal conversation. Because I do think political talk, especially this election cycle, is crazy versus untrustworthy.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with here. At being generous, two flawed candidates,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all this ardent passion for these parties, you
Yeah.
put that in with candidates who have a lot of stuff you can point to. It makes for
Yeah.
very
Well, and that's
Ugly
I
dissent.
think that's part of what Trump's appeal is that all of a sudden the people that have felt like that they were passed by and forgotten and not consulted hear what they're thinking come out of his mouth. In
Yeah.
addition to a bunch of other bullshit.
But he's gone
Oh no, I know.
beyond what they're thinking.
Yeah, no.
Let's not talk about Trump on this episode. Let's talk about him on another episode.
Or not. Yeah.
Because I'm liking this we haven't had a non-political episode
Yeah.
for a while.
You know, well, it's because that it
'Cause
is so.
the balloon that is Trump.
It's beyond 24 hours, 20,
Yeah.
And so a lot of other issues, just think of all the other stuff that's not being addressed because that's sucking up all the air.
Have you watched any of the Olympics?
Yes, that has been pretty awesome.
I haven't really gotten into it this
Watching
year.
Michael, well, we turn it on at night because I'm watching less news. I'm trying to protect myself, so we turn
Yeah.
it on after we watch a rerun of NYPD Blues, and then so we're watching at night is gymnastics and swimming right now, and watching Michael Phelps. The guy's a machine, man.
So here's the deal, and maybe you can help me as a designer. Mm-hmm. I'm having trouble with the green.
The green pool.
The green pool, the green gymnasium, the whole green color scheme that Rio has seemed to have taken on.
But that isn't that their green is their kind
that
of
their
color?
color? I really I don't like it.
You don't like
I'm
it?
watching the green basketball court, and then there's a green pool.
See, I haven't watched
Seems
any
to be
basketball.
there's kind
Well,
of
the
lime.
green pool's a mistake.
There's a lot of lime green.
No, that green is not supposed. It's supposed to be blue, and they woke up one morning, all of a sudden it was green. Did you not hear that?
No, what was the
Yeah,
story there?
because you look at the
But
pool that they're
some guy
swimming
screwed
in.
up.
It's got some sort of algae goo or something in there that ain't supposed to be there, and they shut the pool down for a little bit, thinking they could shock it back, and it's going. No,
That's
we're
a
not
lot
gonna,
of shock.
You're not going to shock me back.
Really, can't shock
It's
it
going to be
back.
green, and it's going to be an embarrassment to your ass. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think
guess
think
the only
Brazil is
stuff-
kind of a green.
Yeah, I get it. I don't like it.
Yeah, you're not a
Color-wise.
big green person.
No, it's that kind of limey green.
So what is your favorite color? You're wearing a green shirt. It's a
I
dark
know,
green,
I
but
know.
anyway.
I don't know. It's just that particular green. It's okay as an
That limey
accent.
green?
It just can't dominate.
You don't want big wads of it.
I want
You like that color as an accent, but not as
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
No, I can
Tell
see
me
that.
old-fashioned. It's
It's
just- just-
pretty. It's a real hot raw color.
Yes, I'm sure it would be big on the beach in Brazil and Rio with a little bikini. See,
Yeah.
now bikini is really, if it's all green and it's a little, well, it's one of those Brazilian G-strings, then that's just an accent. Is
pretty
what I'm
much-
saying.
I'm pretty much good with any color on a G-string. I'm good. I
the
don't.
Brazilian swimsuit
care.
there, they don't
Yeah.
really hold a whole lot of material.
Yeah. No. They,
No.
Well, that's always been kind of their thing.
That
down
has been
there.
their thing.
Yeah.
And,
And if you're gonna have a thing, that's as good as any.
I think that's a fine thing.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with the lime green on that.
Yeah.
It's just where it just
So I don't know. The Olympics has been kind of interesting too. Even it has got this what we've been talking about: people not trusting institutions.
right.
Okay.
Well, the whole city
even
of
that's
Rio.
even well. That's one thing. The other part of it is the institution of and the governing institution of the Olympics allowing people to go on and participate who have been accused and convicted of using performance-enhancing drugs. And even this is the first time I've seen.
But are they clean during the Olympics?
Well,
Are they testing them?
Don't know. I would assume they're testing them. Yeah, but I'm sure
Because
they
a Chinese swimmer just got knocked out.
test them. Yeah, and there's been several other. The Russians. They were saying which has got to be a big embarrassment to Putin. Although Putin's gonna go.
Putin doesn't care.
No, no, he doesn't care.
He's the Trump of Russia.
Yeah. So,
What?
have you been reading about the Philippines' new president?
I think I remember reading about it when
buddy.
he was running. He won.
No, he's in.
Because didn't they have some weird thing happen recently?
He has declared open season on anybody in the drug trade. And so far, according to the article this morning, 525 plus people have been killed on the streets. He's basically said,
They're doing drugs. Go ahead, citizens, kill them.
yeah. And
Really?
he's also said this last week he publicly outed a bunch of politicians, military, and police personnel who he says is involved in the drug trade, and he's given them 24 hours to turn themselves in, or he's basically turned the population loose on them.
What do you mean by turning the population loose?
Kill them, bring them in, whatever. But a lot of these
So
people.
you're saying
a lot of
525 people have been shot on the street because
Yes.
citizens just said,
Well,
that guy's a drug person?
citizens, and he's
we're-
given
and you're okay.
he's given approval to the military and the police that aren't corrupt to
Right.
take care of the issue, the problem.
So they're gonna
And then
go
a
after his
and,
ass.
and they've had thousands of people turn themselves in because they had 24 hours to do so. So the jails are filling up with all these people that he
So you have to turn
publicly
yourself
outed.
in?
You know, well,
And
if
you go to jail?
Okay, on the front page of a newspaper, for instance,
yeah.
he lists a bunch of people that he says are guilty of taking money and are corrupt for the drug system and drug trade, and he's saying, turn yourself out in now to the authorities or run the risk of being
Shot.
dealt
Wow.
with in the.
Dictatorship has its opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think someone's going to go after him? I would not be surprised to see him killed soon.
Well, you'd think, yeah, but he is
Drugs are
really
big money.
He's going to, and he also turned the military loose. He basically said, "You're free to kill anybody with this Abu Zaif or whatever it
There's
is,"
gonna be people that
which
gonna-
they declared allegiance to ISIS this last year.
Oh.
They've always been there, a Muslim kind of terrorist
So
group.
they have in
but now
Philippines?
and so he said, wipe them off the face of, wipe them off the island. He said, military, you got free reign to do whatever you want to do, and kill them, get rid of them.
You see, we can
Because
do
if we
that.
don't,
They're going to kill us.
yes. So you got somebody that's actually in office who's actually following suit with some of these things, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, don't you think it gives license to, you're an enemy of mine, you stole my wife, or
Yeah.
you did something.
Carl's in the drug
Carl's
business.
boom.
Pow. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's going to be some scores settled.
There's no trial by jury or any
Right.
kind of legal system on a lot of this.
Yeah.
It's like.
So there's going to be, it's one of those things in the beginning, they might have killed a bunch
You know
of
what
drug
that's
people.
called?
What? Anarchy?
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
That's collateral damage. But what's happening is scaring the living bejeebus out of people, and they're
I
turning
would
themselves
say,
in.
But they elected him.
Somebody did, yeah. Yeah.
Did he campaign on this platform?
Oh, yes, he did.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
So,
That's been a real interesting one to watch.
I've known a few people from the Philippines. There's a whole different mentality there.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that? Have
Yeah.
you met people from the Philippines?
Well,
They think different.
yeah. Perry, when he was going to school in Boston, knew this girl who he's
And I'm not
attracted
saying they
to,
think
and I
like
don't
that.
even
I'm just
remember.
saying there's
But her dad was a big preacher in the Philippines. They were
Preacher in the
big into church.
Philippines,
He
right,
owned his
right,
own
right.
church, a big preacher in the Philippines. But he was also a senator or something along
right.
those
So
lines.
he's a politician
But
and a
they
preacher.
own property in Las Vegas and South Florida.
So a lot of money left the
Oh,
Philippines.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad
a lot-
combination. Politics,
And religion.
religion. You would think a preacher would buy a pastoral setting in Kentucky.
No, there's a bunch of heathens.
They always
There's
go.
heathens.
They always buy.
You
in
want to
Vegas.
in Vegas? There's a bunch of heathens.
So you
They're
could be saved.
sinful people and sinful things. So that's an ideal place for a church to set up and try and
Did
help
he set
people
up a
who
church in Vegas, or did he buy
No, I think he
property?
just bought some property
Yeah.
that he can stay in when he's in the country.
Yeah, gee, I wonder what he does.
He wants
in
to get
Vegas.
money out of there, and
I
so
wonder what
in
he does in Vegas with all that
he probably goes to the bunny ranch.
little bunny action, a little gambling action.
Yeah, he's gambling the parishioners' money, but he's basically setting up bases for him to be able to exit the Philippines in case things turn south. And sometimes they do.
I think I'd be leaving the Philippines now.
Yeah. What would be interesting is to find out if this guy's on the list.
Yes.
Ooh, I'll have to talk to Perry. We'll do a little
Gee, I wonder.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to watch right now.
No, I hadn't really heard about that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of getting buried under the news, I guess.
Talking about the Middle East and how it's kind of blowing apart. And one theory is that after
Something
World
new
War, after
blowing
well
apart
after
in
World
any-
War II, I mean prior to World War II, and I haven't looked at any maps. These countries kind of like didn't exist. Okay.
They didn't exist?
Yeah, not the way they do now.
Right.
They were kind of a loose
Family
collection
connection.
of
I think it was kind of family
tribes.
tribes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and stuff like that. Okay, and so I guess European countries, and England decided to hack up the area and turn it into countries.
It's always bad.
And put in their
Little borders.
their people. And what's happening now is all that those faux borders. Are being blown apart, and it's all kind of going back to tribes. You think about the Kurds, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Kurds are, in three different countries. They're tribes, and they're trying to, coalesce back to what they were, and everybody's fighting it. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
Well, I don't know. It's on the surface. I say to myself, in today's modern world, tribes versus borders is going to be hard to pull off.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Well, it
I think
depends.
the borders are all. I think having Westerners impose borders in other countries is about the most insane thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, if the people around there want to make up some borders, let them do it. But
Yeah.
we, imposing borders, that's turned out not to be such a good thing.
No, it hasn't. And
Another one of those supposedly good ideas gone awry.
yeah, it's most of our intervention ideas. When
Yeah.
you think about it, I mean, it's common sense, folks. If countries,
That was nation building that we
Yeah.
did kind of undid.
right, it just doesn't work.
Now we're into nation undoing.
Yes, as we should be.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
That's kind of enough.
Are we at the end of our little show?
Yeah, we're at the end. We only mentioned
The evil-
himself once or twice.
That's okay.
Right?
We're gonna do another episode. Yes, but it was kind of refreshing. I feel like a spring shower, Michael.
Yeah.
A shower of hope
Yeah.
and optimism.
And it
My
is
nipples
kind
are
of
getting again.
Are they starting to tingle?
They're starting to gooey.
No, goozy.
Goozy. I'm sorry.
Goozy.
Goozy. I gotta remember my own.
I like
word.
that goozy. Oh my!
I'm getting goozy.
Your nipples are goozy. Oh,
It's a sign of optimism and hope.
goozy nipples.
Goozy nipples.
That could be an episode name. Could that be an episode name?
I think it has to be the episode name, don't you think?
Goozy nipples.
Because
Ooh, I'm gonna have to come up with what kind of image am I gonna have on that one?
I'll leave that to your more than capable visual imagination.
Goozy nipples.
Goozy nipples. There it is.
I could do Monument Valley. Little things at Monument Valley. It looks like a very
creative
large
process
rock.
being talked
Yeah,
about.
I don't know.
Always not
Man,
pretty.
God.
It starts one place. and
No,
usually
it's
ends someplace
yes,
else.
it's never pretty.
Yeah, until the end. Michael, for those who don't know, does all of them. Let's go ahead and say that. All the cover images for our episodes.
That's been an interesting process.
Yeah.
It actually has been a very interesting process.
You do a good job.
Well, the thing that I found is there is so much out there on the web from imagery. You can punch in anything you like. If I punch in goozy nipples,
You
I'm
might
gonna find some.
something. Really?
oh, I will find some goozy nipples.
Now that's going to be a challenge because goozy, I don't even think it's a word, but
No, and it'll get
But
confused
now,
with
right now,
oozy
yeah.
nipples, and you really don't want to,
But
you
right
don't want
now, believe me, there's some nerd in Ohio
yeah.
who just bought Goozy.com.
Oh, Goozy.com. Oh, I wonder. I bet Goozy's available.
We're gonna check. We'll have to check.
Goozy.com. Oh yes.
Thought leadership,
There you go.
new words, Goozy nipples. That's what you get with Carl and Mike.
And that's all you get. You ain't getting anything else.
so,
And that should be enough.
that should be enough.
These days,
Yes.
if you can walk away from listening to podcasts and remember one thing: Goozy nipples.
I think we've done our job here,
And you've gotten your money's worth
pretty much. Because
because it's free.
sure, you could go to those well-produced
For paid
podcasts,
podcasts.
and hear the same old
Bunch of
dribble.
fucking hacks.
Right, but here
That's
you
right.
get right off top of the mind, right at the top.
Yeah.
No
Or
filters or bottom. No filter podcasting right here
Yeah.
with Carl and Mike. So go to carlmike.net and check out those mighty fine show notes and share those mighty fine episode art.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Is that
We
it?
both bring our little thing to the party.
Oh, yes.
All right. Peace.
Out.